Boom! We are off with another episode of Booze Your Daddy, the podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Alan Snyder, here with my boy, number 2 at the deli counter, number 1 in your hearts, Zack Elias.
Number 2 is not bad. You
Do you want to be number 1?
I'd rather be number 1, but if it's that deli, if it's the deli we discussed last week, I just don't want to be at number like 80. You have to wait around. That's a long wait. You know what's going on in there too. How does that work at a brothel, glory hole, whatever? You know, people are going in after you. You have to do you chit chat with the guy? Do you say how was it? Just sports, weather?
I love that you've been thinking about this all week.
I just popped in there, but I just don't know. I don't know brothel etiquette. When you see one guy going out, do you talk to him? Or do you just avert eyes?
Booze Your Daddy, the podcast. We're doing this thing.
Good? That's the end of it?
We're doing this thing live every Tuesday, 8:30. Episodes come out on Saturdays, iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify.
You can say come out, but I can't say brothel.
Make sure you download the episodes. Give us a 5-star rating. Smash the like button. We kind of have a sponsor, which we'll get into.
Is it a whorehouse? Speaking of brothels, while we're on the topic, you asked when to bring this thing up, and I said at the end, but I'm bringing it up right now because it corresponds. So I had a work meeting today with one of my real estate agents, and he is British, and you know how they sometimes have fantastic terms for just absolute nonsense? Well, one of our buildings used to be an establishment of the delicatessen variety. It used to be a whorehouse or a brothel.
I like delicatessen variety. Let's use it.
So we were just chatting about it in passing because he works in that building, not as a whore, as a real estate agent. So it's about the same. But he says, so he's just talking about it. He goes, yeah, and it's a knocking store. And I said, a what? A knocking store. That's what they call it in England, a knocking store. I just said, that's poetry. That's just fantastic as a term for a classy, really elegant way to say whorehouse. Somehow that was going to be at the end, and that came up in the first minute and a half. So we're off to a start here.
Episode 83. We're calling this episode Doppelgangers, which I assume, Zack, you know what a doppelganger is, right?
I do.
All right.
So who's our doppelganger?
We're going to get into that. Zack, before we get going, I'm thirsty. You're thirsty. You're drinking this
hot. Those Boleros again. Ow,
I know. I'm also tempted to just put it on my forehead for the rest of this episode. It's been so good. Of course,
it's Bolero cools you down, picks you up. Let's go. What do you got?
I'm going back to the Wet Ticket Brewing one more week. It is called Taste Like Summer. And that's the season, not the Knocking Boots store. Watermelon wheat ale. Zack, are you aware of how much people love watermelon stuff in this world?
Well, who loves watermelon stuff? Like people or your Domino's crew?
So, Julia,
who's your daddy? 3 minutes in, we're out. It's been great.
No, there's a whole thing that went viral on TikTok that was putting mustard on your watermelon, and there's nothing better than cold watermelon in this. It's a whole. People love watermelon.
That they do.
All right, Booze Your Daddy. Soda. Established 2013, original Wet Ticket, Rahway, New Jersey. Released the Kraken.
That's tough. Rahway.
Yamas.
Oh, that'll get you there. It'll cool you down.
I seriously. I'm going to just keep it on my neck while you talk.
I thought we were going to have Bud Ice. That's still a thing? Something cold.
So in this world, when somebody goes up to you and they say, oh, you remind me of 99 times out of 100, maybe 100 times out of 100, it's a good thing. Nobody ever goes up to you and goes, you know who you remind me of? Adolf. Good old Adolf. That's who I think you are. Usually it's a positive thing. Zack, has anybody ever said you remind them of? And I guess I'm going more for the looks in this question.
Well, when I had better hair, these things happen. I used to get the guy from Road Trip. That's who people think of. I've heard Jason Biggs. I should be so lucky. I don't think I look like him.
I can see that. Okay.
Yeah, but no, the guy from Road Trip, the stoner guy.
I have a friend I have a friend from college who looks just like him. And I would actually go more with Jason Biggs. I can see that. One
time in college, a bunch of people were watching Road Trip, and I walked into their room for something, and they were stoned out of their minds. And I was literally wearing the outfit that the guy was wearing. I was like green corduroy pants on a red shirt, and their minds just blew. It was like I jumped off the screen into their room. They were just so meta. You were here and there. It was hysterical.
So as Samantha has commented, it is true. Her husband, Noah, you would never get him confused with Matthew Reeves, but he is a dead ringer. He looks just like him.
I thought you meant the tall, blonde FBI guy.
You think that's who she's stupid?
Yeah, that's who she's putting away. That guy's got a hog on him. He's like 6'8".
So for me, I've had 3 different people in my life that, and there was an altercation actually, which I want to get into. It'll be a good segue. So when I was younger, at least in high school, I used to wear my hat kind of sitting on my head, a little tipped up, and I was a more goofy. Every now and then people would say, oh, you kind of remind me of Adam Sandler, which I don't think is a compliment by any stretch, because it was never, you're so funny. It was always, you kind of look like him, which
egg-shaped head of the Jew face. All right, these things happen.
It's just one of those things where you would never get us confused, but then sometimes I would be joking around, and my sister and I had the same driver's ed
because,
teacher.
by the way, I made that comment when you put up your cartoon, your Disney-ized thing with you and Julia, where she looked like Moana and you looked like Adam Sandler in Hotel Transylvania. The long Dracula face.
Exactly. So you can see it a little bit. So that was one. When I had long hair, at least back in 2010, I looked just like Tim Lincecum, which I sent my mom a picture of him, and she responded with, when did you get that hat? I was like, that's actually not me.
That's fantastic.
I've been to Yankee Stadium where there were people standing.
Because your mother couldn't care less about you is what she's really telling you. You have no clue what you look like.
I was at the game one time, and these people were like, you ask him. You ask. Has anybody ever told you? I'm like, yes.
Sent her a picture of Johnny Cueto. She would have said the same thing. When did you get the braids?
We went to AT&T Stadium, I forget what they call it now, in San Francisco, and when I was carded for the beer, the lady looks at it and she goes, you look just like our big-time Timmy Jim. And it was...
She went with big-time Timmy Jim?
It was really good.
I saw him pitch back in his heyday. He mowed the Mets down. It was painful.
He was really good. Yeah. Although, when we went...
It's just gone.
So far, things are good for me. That's okay. Whether you have the same name, I always also worry about this, and this is my own neuroses, is one day some asshole in the world named Alan Snyder is going to do something really terrible, and then my life is ruined from there, which you can always change your name. But...
No, God, I guess that thing buzzed. I'm sorry. My uncle texted me about the Mets. God help him.
If there was only a button to turn that off during a live podcast.
That or me or this. Yes, well, no, what's going to happen is some nice boy who's in 5th grade named Alan Snyder is going to get shit on because of this. You know, there's some guy in New Jersey over there doing a podcast, and he's got all kinds of nonsense going on. I assume that he's down in the South somewhere.
I need a better Southern accent than that. You can do better. Come on.
Oh, from me? There's some, Jew face out there. It's exactly the same. It's some like oil tycoon.
So at the
oil tycoon, which is pretty much, I think, everybody in Texas, the whole state.
We went to Orioles Mets a couple of weeks ago, and I go to get in line. It was very weird the way the beer thing was set up, and I kind of do this one. I was like, oh, there's no line for the game or for the beer stand. And I go to just kind of be the next one, and this massive guy with a mask on, he looks at me and he goes, there's a line. And I didn't see it. I went, oh, I'm really sorry. And you could tell he was already a little drunk, and the line was him.
That's what happened at the Glory Hole too, by the way.
The line was him. I was like, okay, yeah. And I go to stand back him, and now with a mask over his face, he starts with, oh. And now you can only see his eyes. He's like, oh, you're that guy, aren't you? And I went, dude, who? And I forget who I was with. I was a little scared. He goes, you're that guy who made fun of Kobe Bryant dying. And I went, oh, I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about.
Who is that?
So there's a comedian who was very canceled, I thought, but I just heard him. He's all on the podcast back these days. I've been told I look like a low-rate version of him. His name is Ari Shafir. He runs in the Joe Rogan circle of people, which is why he's kind of famous. So here you go. Here's a picture.
Move it over the other way.
Which, I guess.
He just looks Jewish.
He was raised Orthodox Jew. He went to, I wonder what university do you think he went to?
Either Maryland or Yeshiva. What are we working with here?
He graduated from the University of Maryland, where I think he's from Brooklyn, and now he's in LA or whatever. He comes back to New York a lot. But so during the whole, he's a big Knicks fan, and when Kobe went down, he went
when Kobe went down.
He went on a rant that basically ended with 18 years too late, and he was, dropped from everything. It was really, really bad. But now I am at this Oriole game with this massive guy who's already a little drunk and pissed off at me for kind of cutting when I did. And he was like in my face. And I was like, dude. It's not me. Like, I'll take the compliment.
It's amazing you knew who he was referring to.
Come on, man. You know I'm balls deep in this stuff. Like, I love the comedians. I love it. I also have been told I look like a low rate version of that guy. So I kind of knew who he was. So segueing from that, when it comes
by low rate, do you mean less handsome or less famous or both?
Less funny, less famous, not the less handsome. I'm definitely better looking than that fuck. Come on.
Ladies, what do we think here?
So when it comes to being attacked or anybody getting up in your space, something happened this past week where I was watching, I do Vinny's hard body karate, and they do this. They press this all the time. You
got to open an Allen's hard body karate. Come on, you got time and you got diamond hand money going on. So
I actually filed for my my business today, so maybe I won't have it. But they preach distance.
I'll angel invest.
Do not let anybody in your face. Do not let anybody in your space.
In your airspace?
Because, and I actually have a friend who this is his go-to move, is everybody does the chest bump. He's a big fan of the headbutt. Which
was it Zinedine Zidane?
No, Zidane went to the chest.
No, he went.
No, he didn't. 100%.
He went head to the chest. Yeah,
he went thrust into the chest. But my buddy, I won't name names, who does that. If you're willing to have the other person's blood all over your forehead, it'll work every time. Like 100%. Especially if you grab you do the chest thing, you grab them by the collar and headbutt, it'll win. So I'm curious, when somebody gets in your space, what do? Are you like put your hand out? How do you react?
I usually look at them and go, dude, what are we dating? That's my go-to. What are we dating? Like, my girlfriend here.
But you'll let them get that close?
Honestly, I don't. If they have, I usually don't pay attention until they're too close. Then I realize, and I get them what are we dating? Or easy with my girlfriend, or buy me a few drinks, then get that close. I'll say something snarky like that and hope they don't kill me. Whoever I'm with will save my life, but I would usually go snark on them.
That's too much for me. Like, that is just, I wish I had that. Do you remember the clip
I'll do like the Seinfeld with Jerry says to Newman, an inch. That I usually will go to as well.
So, bringing Kobe back, do you remember the
digging him up?
Do you remember the video from many years ago where it was a Matt Barnes out of bounds and Kobe is standing there and Matt Barnes pump fakes in Kobe's face and he doesn't flinch? So do you know that they've since showed that view from Eagle Eye, and it was actually a pump fake to the side, which is why Kobe didn't flinch?
Really?
Yeah, you got to go. Yeah, I was also very disappointed.
I like the grand illusion.
So that's not me.
What do you do? Get a split and punch him in the nuts like Van Damme or Johnny Cage?
Johnny Cage, nice drop.
Yeah.
Well, no, I am like, first off, I never let it get to that point. I never let it get to where we're actually, I'm an away fan all the time. I'm always going to de-escalate. That's just not me. But if anything, when the person kind of goes like, I will generally just put my hand out and be like, dude, no, we're not doing this.
No, if they do that to me, I just throw my hands up like, dude, I don't care.
Come on.
No,
but
when they keep coming, get too close. Usually people don't just keep coming to me. I'm a wise ass, but it usually doesn't get physical because I'm like 4'3". What are you going to do to me? It's like speeding up a puppy.
But if you deserve it, you deserve it.
I always deserve it. If you'll go walk up to me in the face and just punch me in the face, yeah, you deserve that. Punchable face. Or my grandmother was great. She used to slap my dad or my uncle and say, that's for the one I didn't see. But that's how you could do that in the 50s.
So I was watching this past week, which I highly recommend. I'm a big Tony Hinchcliffe fan. He's a comedian. He just got recently canceled. We talked about this, and his show is back. He's raunchier than ever. He got a better Asian. He got better, but he just dropped a YouTube.
Better Asian? You should get one of those.
He actually did get a better Asian because that was a part of his. Remember we talked about this, right? He got canceled for the chin with the K, and he since has hired an Asian and a new agent. Anyways, he had a special that he was going to be putting out maybe on.
I like your Asian. She's good.
she's perfect. He was going to be putting that out on Netflix or something. Anyway, that's not happening. So what he did was he took grainy footage from the La Jolla Comedy Store. It's on YouTube for free. Zach, if your humor is anything like I think it is, it's called Making Friends with Tony Hinchcliffe. There are some.
I'll remember that.
There are some things in this thing where it had me rolling. There's some dry spots too, but it's live at a Comedy Store. I'm going to spoil a little bit for you. There was a heckler moment, and it escalated. And Tony is like, the fans tried to get into it. He goes, guys, I got this. Like, it's his pride and joy in humiliating people to the point that a whole table had to get up and leave, but not before the mother rushes the stage and she goes, what do you, and she gets all up in his grill. What do you got down there? And she reaches down for his balls. And he didn't flinch, Zach. And he just stood there and looked down. And then she goes, nothing. And then walks away. And then he lamented and, oh my God, if she just would have hit me with a purse, like my career is made. And I couldn't believe he had, granted she was an older woman, he didn't even flinch.
So she grabbed him by the nuts, just like.
She faked it. She went down and like, Zach, I hope you watch it. And I hope you
watch it. But if you're going to go for the gold, in for a dime, in for a dollar, you should just go for him. See what he's working with. I
wish I could have done that. I would have had my hand on her forehead, pushing her off the stage. Like, there's no way I'm letting somebody get in my space like that. No way.
That's his office, too. It's interesting. Different.
I had a Zack moment this past week.
Go on.
I went to a doctor's office. And there was 3 different receptionist ladies. I don't know why there can't be more male receptionists, but that's neither here nor there. And this is after the visit, I'm telling the doctor, because, they start doing like the doctor, oh, what are you watching on TV? What are you doing this? And I'm sitting there like,
oh, they make the nice.
I know, but I could tell he was doing it, except, who you're talking to? I do this for a living. So I turned it back on him. I was like, oh, have you seen this? And he goes, wait, what's that? So I dropped Red Oaks on this guy who lives in Jersey and no idea. To the point that I said, are you even going to watch it? He goes, I wrote it down he wrote it down on the backhand part of his hand so he wouldn't watch it.
11 years old?
Come on. If you only knew how many.
The Pet 15 Club?
Do you know how many email drafts I have open where I write notes about stuff? Because I'll never remember anything. I always write it down immediately.
You text it to me or I have to write it down. I have a whiteboard at my desk, like Memento. It's awful.
Just read it backwards?
Yeah, I got a lot going on. It's backwards. It's up, sideways. It's like whatever angle it's at and I'm at the current moment. There's lines, there's drawings, hieroglyphics.
So we're at the front desk. He now asks his wenches at the front if they've ever seen
wenches? That's somebody go with her receptionist?
That's okay for a waitress, but not okay for a receptionist?
Yes, because I think the whole thing of a wench is they bring you stuff. That was a receptionist bring you, besides the Johnson file.
The bill is what she brought me.
Bills.
So this one girl.
Wait, what'd you go to Dr. Jellyfinger for?
That's neither here nor there, Zach.
It's here and there.
It's HIPAA, okay?
That means penis.
My mother's up to date on these episodes. A little less penis would be nice, by the way.
That's what Julia wants too. A little less penis.
So there's one girl there who had pointy, long fingernails. They were probably realistically 2 inches. They were white, painted white, and all of them were pointed. And the first thing as soon as I looked at her and I went, what's your end game with those?
You said end game? That's amazing. I say that all the time.
I was going to think of like a clever way to kind of back into it of like
you dive into
what's your end game? Like, what are you trying to do? And she went, I don't know. And that was it. And
you didn't ask her to scratch your back at that point? Like, can you take a lap around?
Zach, I was just like, what did I just say? Why did I even acknowledge this part? Terrible.
You have to engage. It's
terrible.
I mean, why would she get that if she doesn't have a purpose? Is she a scratcher or does she like open envelopes real fast?
I don't get long fingernails for the life of me. I don't get it.
No, I cut my nails a lot. This is like too long for me.
No. On a female, Zach.
I don't know anybody. I just don't like them. Just keep your nails normal. It's ridiculous.
Before we get to...
You won't grow your toenails as long as your fingernails. What the hell are you doing here? Symmetry.
I am very excited for trivia because you're doing trivia. But before we get there, I saw, Zach, the perfect secret Hanukkah Santa gift that I've ever seen in my life. It's Hanukkah. Your little stupid thing that you had?
Yeah.
So
what makes it stupid? You showed up. You got a thing.
Wasn't invited last year.
There wasn't. Nobody was. It's a very exclusive crowd of me.
Zach, I saw something one of my friends posted. It's called the Jewish Wisdom Ball, which essentially is the magic Jew ball, like the magic 8-ball.
Yeah, I got you.
Have you seen this before?
No, but I hope I get it in the grab bag this year.
100%.
I know what I'm getting.
I'm just going to send this to you. So it is the magic 8-ball, except it has a high on it and not the 8. The things, the choices that you can get when you turn the thing over are all these passive aggressive sayings. Better you shouldn't ask. If that's what you want,
Brilliant.
You call that a question. And then my favorite, which I had to look up, is spelled F-E-H, which is
Feh. No, it's feh.
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 What does that even mean?
Like a throwaway. Feh. Oh, disgusting.
Oh my God.
Like, did you see what he's wearing? Feh.
I've never heard feh.
But you gotta do the hands with the feh. You've never used feh?
Nah.
Some of the Jew faces on this thing. Samantha, Shelby, whoever else we got. Rod Katz, give him a feh.
My family doesn't know feh.
Feh is not below the Mason-Dixon line? What about so? No. And you?
I know that. Anywho, I saw this and was like, I'm getting this for Zach immediately, if not for Hanukkah, if I'm invited.
You're invited. Everyone's invited. Feh is like poo. Ish.
All right, Skifoos, go ahead with the explanation that we need.
Oh, wait, so we don't do Pisha Do of the Week anymore? We got nothing for that? Canceled? You're the Pisha Do for not knowing Feh. Okay, nevertheless. So after I listened to these things back, and you know, they're entertaining, and then I they're mildly amusing. Nevertheless, 2 weeks ago, when we were going through all the your sneakers and Sean Kemp, and Detlef Schrempf, I got sort of nostalgic and wistful for the old teams that have since moved. So here they are, and this is what my trivia was going to be. It was a little more timely the week after, but those Detlef Schrempf sandals I sent you a picture of still made me laugh. So here we go. Trivia on teams that have moved. In 2008, Seattle lost the Sonics, who became the Thunder, which bothers me that Seattle no longer has a basketball team.
But they're getting a hockey team.
Oh, they're getting an octopus or a squid. That's the stupidest team name in the world.
It's the name of it's the Kraken.
The Kraken.
It's fantastic.
So everyone's going to say, what's Kraken? That's awful.
Oh.
It's not good. And it's a squid, and you can release the Kraken, and none of it is good. It's just a ridiculous name. And it's another name that doesn't end in an S. Those ridiculous names, like the Magic. Awful. Anyway, so here we go. On to trivia. Didn't think it was possible to miss a team in my own division, but Les Expos left Montreal to become the Washington Nationals. And I wish Ron Katz was here. He'd know some of these. In 1972, the previous Washington baseball team relocated. Where and who did they become?
Wait, the previous Washington team?
Yep, the team that left Washington in 1972, that vacated the spot. You're from the D.C. area.
I thought they went to Montreal.
No. Montreal went to Washington.
It was the Washington Senators. I have no idea where they went.
Texas Rangers.
Okay.
There you go. The two stupidest teams in team names in sports, both in the NBA. But at one point they made sense. The Lakers and the Jazz. Where'd they relocate from?
The Lakers were from the Great Lakes, which is Minnesota.
Minnesota, yeah.
And the Jazz were from New Orleans.
Correct.
Yeah.
Hartford, the Whale. They beat Vancouver once, maybe twice a lifetime. But in 1997, they moved to where?
Hartford?
Yes.
The Carolina Hurricanes. Come on.
There you go.
Come on.
Nothing
I'm a hockey guy.
I got you. All right. So this is staying with hockey for 2000. Colorado Avalanche won 2 cups. What was that?
Quebec Nordiques.
I got you, Mr. Blonde, in 2 seconds. Okay. In 1984, in the middle of a snowstorm, a cavalcade
I hate you.
of Mayflower trucks left this destination for their new better home. Where was that better home?
In March of 84, 4 years after I was born. Their better home?
Yeah, where was their better home?
I don't know. The Baltimore Colts, where did they... A better home? They didn't go to a better home. It's a bullshit question. There was no positive traction in a 1973 mint Pontiac.
And this question I actually didn't know. It was a bonus question. Do you know who the original team to relocate was? To where and who they became?
Give me a sport. I'm gonna guess.
Oh, the original team. I mean, what were you thinking? It's the old sport.
The baseball you're saying?
The first team to change cities.
I want to say is it like the Yankees?
And who did they be? Who became the Yankees?
No, there's the Orioles, right? Or the
Yeah,
Baltimore.
it
Yeah,
was the Baltimore Orioles for 2
no,
years.
I knew that.
Yep, there you go. You got it.
You didn't think I was getting it. That was a bonus one.
That was a bonus one because once you got it was the Yankees, then it went from there. I didn't know that they were the first team to move.
I didn't know they were the first team to move, but I did know the history of that.
Yes, it was a 2-year run. So what'd you get? 5 out of 6, pretty good.
It's a 5-question trivia here, Zach.
Oh,
Sounds like I didn't go full blown Allison. I got my 5s.
Full blown Allison is. Does she hate that? By the way, she must.
I don't think she listens so much. So I don't
Even
think she
better.
really. Oh my God. My sister right now is in the process of moving, and she calls every day with how stressed she is. Do you not understand that my house is sold and I don't have a house? I said, this is not that big of a problem.
You should get a house. That's what I would tell you. You better go get a house.
I saw something, was it on Twitter the other day, where it was like, no, what you do is you go live in a van it's somebody I follow on Twitter. They said, you sold your house and don't have a house, live in a van by the river, and then when houses come down, then you move into one.
Or get a trailer. Those trailer parks are hot. It's big business owning a trailer park.
Zach, we have time, so let's go through this story. Do you watch commercials ever? Have you seen the new Lisa Loeb Geico commercial?
I love Lisa Loeb. She looks great in that little skirt.
Have you seen it?
No. Yeah, of course I have. I love Lisa Loeb. I've seen everything about her. Got a wall of her, like the pictures of her dedicated my wall, my bedroom.
So for people who don't know this, back in the virus days,
It hasn't aged a day, by the way.
Still would.
Oh my God, yeah.
We were doing some trivias where we were just trying to have fun with some friends. And one week I thought it'd be fun for people to hum songs instead of playing them. And then the other people would have to guess. So everybody sent me them humming a song. And
by the way, your girl Joe Babe got mine. She knew it.
Did she?
Yeah.
Well, hers was fantastic.
I got hers.
Hers was great. She did.
I got hers. So it was feather us though.
It was a lot of fun. Well, Zach, I knew the song that Zach was doing, and he sent me Lisa Loeb humming "Stay," and to this day, I laugh every time just thinking about it. It sounded nothing like it.
Dead on. And I did multiple takes, and that was the best one.
Go ahead, Zach. You want to give me a couple bars?
Yeah, well, you got to whistle first, like, yo. This is dead air, by the way.
It's so bad. All right, here's something else I saw.
It's perfect.
You want to talk about dead air? Here's something that is the worst thing I've ever spent. I have never seen people waste money. So going down some YouTube rabbit holes, I watched a lot of Steve-O the other day. Don't ask why. Steve-O is now promoting something called Liquid Death. It is a can of Liquid Death. What do you think that is?
Liquid Death? A can? It's got to be some form of like Red Bull that's going to keep you up for like 5 days.
Liquid Death.
I can't read that. 12 ounces of what? Like 40 ounces freedom? It's not clear enough. Just read it to me.
Oh, it's pretty clear. It is liquid water.
As opposed to
mountain
water or
it is people that have
water?
Celebrities that have gone through, the rabbit hole of just doing way too many drugs are now just being sponsored by it's meant to look like a beer can because it has this Nordic font to it. Essentially, it's just water in a can, man.
So that's wasting money. Yet a pseudo celebrity recommended a product to me recently. They showed up today.
Oh, this is our sponsor. I teased this at the beginning of the episode. Wait. I teased this at the beginning of our kind of sponsor, which by our sponsor, I mean I recommended something to Zach and he spent money on it. Zach,
what
go
Alan
ahead.
Usually recommends is our TV shows, and he's so far hasn't missed. Very good. So he recommended to me MeUndies, which sounds ridiculous, like me likey. It's the ridiculous name. So I bought 2 pairs of the MeUndies, a boxers and a boxer brief, but like the baggy ones because I don't want them like really up in my schwanz. No, I gotta let my freak flag fly. Nevertheless. They came today. I tried both of them on. They were fine. Average at best. They were no different than the Gap or like they're a little better than Tommy John, which my father says is great. But I'm a sucker for sales in the sense that if somebody tells me something is the best, I will buy it right then and there. You say that like X product is the best, I'll try it out because I need to know that if it is the best, your definition of best, and if they felt fine. Now I haven't worn them with pants yet. That could be tomorrow, but
you would just try. You just put them on, and that was it.
Oh, I moved around. I strutted. I did a few lunges, but I will try them with pants tomorrow. But nevertheless, because I don't feel need to wash them, I'll go right out of the bag onto my body.
No. They're actually best before the wash. I try not to wash them before like 4 or 5.
You get one wear out of these things. They're essentially disposable underwear. Who are you, Allen Iverson? You buy clothes and just throw them away?
Does he do that?
He did before he went broke.
No, he's not broke. He's on one of those Bobby Bonilla contracts. Coming up, by the way, next week.
Yes, obviously.
Or this week.
Allen Iverson used to hate luggage, so he would just get to a city, buy clothing, and leave it at the hotel. And he's not financially stable.
Somebody did that with Xboxes, which also may be Allen Iverson. They used to like get to whatever town and just buy an Xbox and play it and just leave it for the help or something.
Insane. For the help. That's a good tip.
Meanwhile, speaking of tips, I just booked hotels. They are now charging you tips at the beginning. I just booked hotels.
Free tip?
Yep.
So it's not like whatever change you have in your pocket, you leave a big mound of on the dresser anymore?
Nope.
That's insane. Who are you tipping?
The wenches that come in.
But what if they don't wench? What if they don't come in and clean or give you a fluffer or whatever else the maid's supposed to do at a hotel? Then you've already pre-tipped. What if they don't do like turn down? I want those little like mints, those chocolates on the what are those things? The tree mints.
Never have I ever gotten a mint on my pillow.
Nice 2-star hotel you're staying at. Yeah, Super 8's not doing that. Get a crack vial.
Anything else, Zach?
No, the thing I was going to talk about came up in the first 2 minutes.
What was it called?
Knocking store.
Knocking
for a whorehouse. A knocking store. It's just fantastic. You can take a number there, too.
Booze Your Daddy, the podcast. Thanks, everybody, for watching us live. Appreciate the love. Appreciate the support. Make sure you tickle the like button. Do all the things. Leave some comments.
And go to a knocking store. Enjoy. Tip.
Yeah.